I want to say thank you for coming and joining us in Shanghai at our event. We really appreciate it.
Hi, I'm from Team Liquid, and I was
Oh.
wondering why you decided to hold the BWC in China. What do you think about WoW and Starcraft II's current condition in China, and what are your future prospects in China?
Okay. Well, I mean, we've held events internationally before. We've held Worldwide Invitational in Seoul, Korea, Paris, France. So we've held multiple events. In the past few years, we've been focusing on BlizzCon. Since we weren't doing a BlizzCon this year, we thought it would be a great opportunity to hold another esports focused event somewhere internationally. Um, we've never held an event like this. I don't know that anybody really has in China, but China is the home to our largest Blizzard community of any place in the world. And so we thought this was a great opportunity to hold something like here, this year, and sort of as a thank you to the Chinese players. Um, as you know, World of Warcraft is very strong in China. We just launched Mists of Pandaria, which has been received very well here. We think Starcraft II has a lot of potential. Historically, Warcraft 3 has always been sort of the more popular. It's just kind of the way that things happen. Starcraft, there really wasn't a PC gaming market in China when Starcraft 1 and Brood War came out. But when Warcraft 3 was released, is really when the Chinese gaming market started really expanding and exploding. And so I think that there's still a lot of untapped potential for StarCraft 2. And then the last part of that question, I think, was around the potential for the market, the gaming market here in China. China is still one of the sort of fastest growing gaming markets in the world. There's still, there's opportunities for improvements to broadband connection throughout the country to give more people accessibility to play online games, although online gaming is huge here. But as you go out of the tier 1 and tier 2 cities, I think there's just a lot of opportunity to bring more people into gaming, especially sort of premium gaming like World of Warcraft and StarCraft. And so we look at this as an opportunity. I think Europe and the U.S. are a lot more mature markets, so they're very important markets to us, and still, that is where we continue to spend a lot of time and focus. But in terms of future growth, it's probably going to come from places like China and actually Latin America and Russia, we think.
Frodan from GameSpot. I want to ask about your overall satisfaction with BWC, even the WCS series. What are some of the things that you felt Blizzard got right, and maybe some of the challenges you guys can improve on if it was made to come back next year?
Okay. So you're talking about the entire WCS this year? Yeah. Well, I think that I think it's been great watching a lot of players, especially outside of Korea, that are having some very good performance. And actually, one of the pleasant surprises at BWC is how well the non-Koreans are doing in competition. I think that it was an incredibly ambitious undertaking to hold all of these tournaments all over the world. We certainly ran into our share of technical issues. It turns out holding an event like this in China, broadcasting in multiple languages and streaming to players around the world isn't as easy as you might think. And so we've been working through certainly some challenges yesterday, but I think that's been largely resolved in the overall quality of our streams and some of the glitches that occurred yesterday. Hopefully that's behind us, and we're going to have a smooth rest of the day. Like I said, I think there are also some challenges just with all of these tournaments going on in terms of as a spectator, not necessarily knowing what to watch or what is the significance of winning this event or that event, and putting pro players in a position where they have to choose between two very important events. And those are some of the things we'd really like to be able to avoid in 2013. Better coordination and cooperation amongst partners.
Rodrigo Guerra from UOL. What's next we can expect for esports and Blizzard? What's the direction we can see the esports in Blizzard?
Well, we'd like to continue growing esports and reaching more people, improving the overall quality of experience throughout the year, being able to tell a better story so that you can understand what the progression is, what the significance is of winning various events. We are next year planning to have our global finals at BlizzCon, and so that's something that everybody can expect in terms of the path to getting to BlizzCon. That's not something we're prepared to announce today, but it is something that we're working with all our various partners around the world.
I'm Leon from Coisa de Nerd, Brazil. I would like to refer back to a point you just mentioned before, which is the amount of content that is being produced nowadays related to StarCraft and the amount of tournaments we have. I think from the spectator point of view, today I think that there's too much thing being done, too many things, and in some way it kind of diminishes the value of the content that is being produced. The tournaments are in a way lose importance because you have so many of them. Is Blizzard thinking about addressing this issue, especially in terms of licensing from now on?
Yeah, so I'm not so sure it's the amount of content that's being produced. I think it's the lack of story around the content. If you look at other popular sports, maybe baseball, which is something that's popular in the United States, I mean, there's a huge amount of baseball content, but there is a story around what's happening, and there's a context for everything, and I think that's important because all games aren't equal, and I think that's really where we need to work with our partners and focus on how do we establish an ecosystem and a structure around all of this content so that players understand, which are the most important tournaments, what does it do in terms of the overall, the overall relative ranking between players. How do I know who's the best? How do I know that this is a tournament that maybe means more than the others? And actually, they're not all equal, and those of us that follow the tournaments know that it really matters which players you have in attendance at various ones, and if you have all the top players at a tournament, it of course means a lot more than when you don't. So this is a question that we're going to try to answer for 2013.
Hi, Monk from Team Liquid again. I'm wondering, I'd like to hear more about you as a fan instead of a CEO. What level are you in StarCraft II? What race do you play? And also, do you want to answer that now, or?
Sure, I'll answer that now. I'm Terran. I'm bronze. I'm trying very hard to get into silver. I play a lot. I'm going to get into silver. So next time you ask me, don't worry, I'll be silver. Maybe even, well, I don't know if I'll be gold, but I love it. I love watching it. I love watching the pros play. I love reading about it. I enjoyed StarCraft I a lot also. Actually, all of our games. But StarCraft II is the first real-time strategy game that I've been able to have a lot of fun playing online through AMM, because the matchmaking matches me against people that I have a decent chance of winning all the time. And that's made a huge difference for me as a player in terms of being able to have a great time playing. And I know there are a lot of things that I'm not saying I'm a great player, but I have a lot of fun playing and I really enjoy watching.
Also, who are your favorite players, professional players? Why do you like them? And also, who do you like in this tournament? Who do you think will win, and who do you want to win?
Yeah. I love watching Flash. Some of the GOM TV Koreans, Terrans, I really enjoy. MVP. MMA when he was a little while back when he was doing really well. Um, I think you know I like watching Scarlet. I'm gonna be rooting for. Well, actually, I don't need to say who I'm going to be rooting for, but I think it'll be interesting to see how Idra does in this tournament. It's great to see him doing well.
Frodan from GameSpot again. I think one of the big themes surrounding the BWC was this is Blizzard's time to shine for this year. A lot of other companies, like Riot had their Season 2 championships, Valve had the International. How happy, I guess, are you guys with BWC in that regard? And what does, I guess, Blizzard plan to do to beat out the other companies? Because everyone's basically comparing these 3 games and trying to say who's the best. And I guess, do you guys feel even the pressure? Because a lot of the other companies are controlling it. Like, they're injecting money, like, nonstop. How is Blizzard going to respond to this?
Well, the way we respond to everything, really. I mean, we're always competing with other companies and other games and everything. And the way that we've always reacted to that is, we like to learn from what everybody else is doing right. But at the end of the day, we're not focused on what they're doing. We're focused on what we're doing, and we're trying to make our games as good as our games can be, and we're trying to provide a great experience for our players. And we listen to feedback from our players, and we are always trying to improve. But I think our games, Starcraft II is a very different type of game than the other games you mentioned. It's a very different experience. I think it's very unique. I think it has a lot of things that the other games don't offer. I think that in terms of watchability and strategic depth, I think it's just a very, very unique game. So, we don't really think of it in terms of, hey, how are we going to respond to everything that these other companies are doing? We really look at our game and focus on that and work with our partners to create a great experience. And everything that we do, we're looking at how we can do better next time. In terms of the investment that we're making, we're also making significant investment. We're maybe doing it in a different way. We spend an awful lot of money in terms of travel and hotels, in terms of making it easy for all of these pros and the people involved in putting on these tournaments are able to get to the places they need to be. And so maybe it's not as flashy as putting all the money into just prize pools, but it's still significantly expensive. And from what we're told, that's actually more helpful for the ecosystem than just the flashy prizes. I got an interesting question in one of the previous sessions. I was talking with Chinese press, and they sort of asked me a similar question. And I think another area that actually is like the next level, the next step in terms of mainstream acceptance is media really needs to help us. Like, mainstream media really needs to start acknowledging these types of events as significant sporting events and reporting on them on the level that they would report on other sporting events, even like tennis and golf and things like that. You see reports on TV about what's happening at those things. Even though everybody doesn't follow tennis and golf, you hear about it, and it legitimizes the sport. And I think that when we start to see more of that, where the sports page starts to report on who's winning these major events and doing profiles about the top pro players, not just in gaming press, not just in gaming circles, but actually starting to do that in mainstream circles, I think that actually will also help legitimize esports.
Hi, James from Game Planet. How is Blizzard All-Stars progressing, and can we expect it to get the same kind of support that we see for StarCraft?
It is progressing well. I think we're doing a lot of experimentation with it right now, and that's sort of why we've kind of gone dark a little bit in terms of information, because we're testing out some things, and we're not ready to talk about what they are. Right now, the focus, our next big launch is going to be Heart of the Swarm, and so that's really where our attention is. And after Heart of the Swarm releases, we'll probably start turning more attention into preparing All-Stars for beta.
I'm Monk from Team Liquid again. As a community site, we're always wondering how much Blizzard pays attention to us, the community. So I want to ask you, on a daily basis, how much do you personally visit sites such as Team Liquid and Reddit, or do you mostly stick to the Battle.net forums?
No,
And,
actually, I view Team Liquid and Reddit all the time. And actually, just want to say, you guys are doing a great job. The preview that you guys did for BWC was fantastic, and we really appreciate the stuff you guys are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. And also, how much weight do you put on things that are said on these websites versus the Battle.net forums?
I don't think we weigh them any more or less than what we see on our own forums, although I think sometimes the discussion, frankly, is actually better on some of these other sites. And so, but we try to keep up on what the community is saying and what they are suggesting, and we try to take those suggestions for what they are. And some things we agree with, some things we don't agree with. Obviously, some things we have more information than the people who are making the suggestions. But yeah, I mean, we definitely look at that stuff, and we definitely appreciate the feedback. You know, even when it's critical, we know that people are making those suggestions because they really care.
I'm Leon from Coisa de Net, Brazil. You guys have already a date to release Heart of the Swarm. But from a player point of view, it seems that there are a lot of things missing from the multiplayer beta of the game that we have access now, especially regarding the Terran race. It seems that you haven't found yet what you want to do with it. How do you guys manage that? You have a date, but you have to. There is something that you cannot put a date on. I mean. You don't know when you're gonna get this right. How do you manage that?
Well, we do have a general sense for how long these types of things take. You know, our release date isn't until March, and we feel like we've given ourselves plenty of extra time. One of the questions that I've been getting at this show is, hey, how come you announced a release date so far in advance? Blizzard generally doesn't do that. And I think the answer to that is, Starcraft II isn't just a game, it's also an esport. And the timing of our launch actually impacts a lot of people in this ecosystem. So when we made the decision that Starcraft II Heart of the Swarm wasn't going to be released in 2012, we thought it was important to let people know and to let them know when they can expect it. We also, of course, need to give ourselves plenty of time to lock in these features and everything. But I don't think that the multiplayer features are going to end up being our critical path anyway.